the lawsuits. People are seeking millions of dollars, and I have an assistant, and all we do all day long is put our finger in the dike and type up oppositions to people trying to take and attach our revenues and our accounts and our funds. I've gotten all the judgment liens removed as of several months ago, and one major case seeking millions of dollars, I believe, where a little boy was killed in an accident, a little 9-year-old boy, that was dismissed against us 2 or 3 weeks ago. And then today we were in touch with the lawyer of the young man who was killed on Superior and produced all the documents we hope that he is comfortable with. And then we have the firefighters lawsuit that really spawned our collective bargaining agreements really spawned our initiative to try to seek bankruptcy protection from attachment of your revenues, of your accounts, because dealing with the collective bargaining agreement and the unions is very, very problematic and very, very challenging for us. Now, we reviewed the collective bargaining agreement in preparing our appeal documents today, and we have management rights. We have the ability to reduce staff, but that is being challenged, and the trial court judge is assessing us $750 a day against us. So that's why I had to appeal that, as well as several other of the lawsuits. So each day is a challenge, and I just every day go home and pray that the next day I won't have to go to jail for contempt of court for one reason or another. And that's just an overview. Any questions?
Let me ask you a couple of questions. Let me go back to page 2 of the letter from Chafin. It says, respectfully, this office is unable to consider the request of a municipality's mayor.
Right.
Any consideration under revised code 133.36 must be brought by the taxing authority, which is the city council of East Cleveland.
Right, and so therefore I revised our legislation that's before you to include that language, and hopefully all of you have drafts for next week's
So it has to come through the council. Right.
From you.
My other thing is, can you explain to me and the citizens the ramifications of Chapter 9 bankruptcy, and we restructure our debt, we don't pay our bills.
Well,
is it a Band-Aid thing?
No.
Or explain that. Go a little deeper into that. Okay.
We readjust our debts. We have debts. The major creditors to whom we owe money are, there's a Rhode Island judgment against us. All these came before I arrived, and as law director, and there's one for $638,000 from a company named Nestor. There,
$638,000.
yes, yeah, over $700,000 is owed to the healthcare company formerly known as Kaiser. I forget right now what exactly its new name is. We owe over $700,000 to them. We owe $500,000 to a utility company for I forget whether it's the light company or the gas company, but to
$500,000?
Yeah, $500,000. So those would be the creditors with whom we would have to work most closely with. We have judgments that we're paying off in an installment. I guess the McKenna Fitzgerald case, that was $170,000. They would be like fifth or sixth in line. So we would have to just write to each of our creditors. Now, I do have with me the case of Detroit that I've been studying. Detroit, this is the Detroit case. They had like 100,000 creditors. We only have about 100 creditors. So, you know, relatively, we're in much better shape, but they had pension responsibilities that we don't have. And then they had union responsibilities that we do have in addition to our major creditors. And it took them 8 plans. They presented 8 plans to the bankruptcy trustee. Now, we will be put under a bankruptcy judge, and then a bankruptcy trustee would perform the role of having all the meetings with the creditors and looking at all the claims, and each creditor would then agree or disagree whether it will be 90 cents on the dollar or 10 cents on the dollar that they would adjust.
So from a legal perspective, knowing our situation, articulated in the Finance Committee, articulated by Mayor Norton, do you recommend, from what you deal with on a regular basis, that we do this bankruptcy?
I highly recommend it because we're just fighting swords with pens. For Mother's Day, my children and grandchildren thought that the best treat that I would appreciate would be to go see Captain America Civil War. And we don't have those kind of powers. They thought that that's what I wanted for my Mother's Day gift. Okay. So I put on my church, I had my church outfit on and my flowers, and they walked me into the movie theater to see Captain America. But if we had superpowers, it's like the one side, I don't know, Captain America and Iron Man side, you know, they were equal. But we would be like Captain America and Mighty Mouse. It would just be, it wouldn't be a real true battle.
Okay, our situation looks kind of bleak. I've been in meetings with some people in here, Holmes and Struthers, and the 2 gentlemen have been coming pretty regularly. And Mr. Irby, and my question I keep bringing in is connected to bankruptcy, is what is our solution, Wheeler and King, in terms of the future of East Cleveland? When you talk about 2017, another million, and then 2018, 2.5 million.
2.6 million.
Yeah.
2019.
And you talk about police and fire, the basic things you need for a city.
We have to lay off 14 people. By
13
December,
part-time, we got to lay off 14?
well, we laid off 13 part-timers. We have to lay off 14 full-time people, either police or fire, or a combination of both, 7 and 7. I don't know, that's up to...
Before the end of the year, that's what you're saying?
By December 31st, 2016, before January 1st.
You know, what we need is what we needed yesterday. And that's some economic development to come into the city to bring some jobs, not just 50 jobs. We need 500 jobs. And you can hold the mayor accountable for it. I want to hold myself accountable for it as well, because council has not moved to try to see if we can bring something here as a body that can create some jobs. So I think the administration and the legislative branch got to take some accountability for it. And whether you've been here for 18 years or just 30 days, we're all in the same boat together. No matter what seat you're in, we're still in the same boat. I think anything is possible, but my faith makes me think everything is possible. But it can be, it's really discouraging right now, because I don't see an answer that we have today that's gonna solve the problem today.
So do you think that there's only one option is being discussed right now by the mayor, and he basically, to be fair, has not put together an economic development plan. He's pushing merger. And my question to you, Council President, do you think Cleveland is our answer,
Well,
since there's nothing else being offered? How do you feel about it?
well, if I look at that, I don't consider Cleveland as the answer. It may be the only solution, but it's not the answer, because if we merge with Cleveland tomorrow, they're not gonna fix our potholes. They're not gonna come in and put up new lighting automatically. We're the last one on the list. And we have to understand that. So they're gonna give us probably bare minimum, but I don't see no other solution as of yet.
How do you see that, Brandon King, Vice President?
Thank you, Councilman Martin. The way I see it is that all of us are charged moving the city forward. Don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. So it is up to us to try to go out, find resources, to find companies to come in and buy up land. And then when they come to us, Councilman Martin, we got to try to understand it as quickly as possible. Do due diligence properly to make sure that we get the best deal for the city. I understood Noble Road as I read it, as their document read. Where we fell a little short with Noble Road is a wall of some type. That should have been in the original document. I overlooked that. But I knew exactly what he was putting up, and that's what's over there. The Salvation Army took way too long, right? It's unacceptable that it takes that long, that we got to go and get the concerned pastors of East Cleveland to kind of hold certain counselors' feet to the fire to get that thing done. Now, you remember that on 2 occasions, right? Nate, Councilman Martin, when we have these opportunities, we need to fully vet them, understand them, and then move them forward. Now, I wasn't on council when the RTA hydrogen thing came, but that was a missed opportunity. I wasn't on council when the Case Western Reserve coal something came to the city. That was a missed opportunity. I wasn't on council. There was something that Case Western Reserve does with coal, and they want to do a clean coal burning facility over on Lakeview, is my understanding. And somehow it got blown all out of proportion, as do many things here in the city. For example, gentleman right here, that's blown all out of proportion, right? It's ridiculous how that thing's blown out of proportion. And I kept asking myself, what are you going to do with all these documents you keep asking for? What do you want to see them for? What are you going to do with them? Let me get back to this. The post office. It's my understanding that years ago, they came in front of council trying to get things done so they could make changes and make a new facility. Couldn't get it through council, went up to Cleveland Heights. So it is imperative.
I don't think that's true. What we did was we tried to work with them to maintain what was there, but they had already made up their mind. Matter of fact, Travell Harp, and this is one thing we all come together on. We protested to try to get them not to do it, but they went on and did it anyway. Give you a good example. It's relating to what you said. Huron Hospital left us. We negotiated at one point to keep the heart thing. Okay, then a few years later, then they say they're gonna move the whole facility. Okay, well we opposed that, and now they're gone. We lost $1 million from them in revenue from Huron, but they did the same thing to Lakewood just recently. Right. So it's just one of those kind of things.
Here's the difference.
Okay.
The post office is actually a government facility. We could put more pressure, more of a structured pressure on the post office to maintain a facility presence in East Cleveland than we can on a private company. Whether it's a public company or non-profit, it doesn't matter, right? So the Cleveland Clinic was a business decision by a private business entity. You can't force them to stay. That doesn't work like that. But the post office could have been massaged into staying here. right? And again, it's just my understanding from years ago when I wasn't on council, that they came to council and they couldn't get the necessary things they needed from council, so they decided to leave. So what I'm saying with all of this is that as council, as elected officials, what we need to do, Councilman Martin, is we need to fully vet and fully understand information quickly. The sewer district out here 8 times. Absolutely ridiculous, right? They come to the meetings, they make the presentation, you gotta understand it. If you don't understand it, have a private meeting, have a one-on-one, we can explain it to you. But what happens so often in here, you get people or conversation coming out of the gallery that influences a decision, right? And you and I talked about this before, right? And I say it here publicly. How did it make you feel the day we went to vote on it and one of the counselors came in and was totally in a different realm on where this thing was we were voting on, right? It is our job to understand it as we're voting on it, right? Quickly, because you can lose business and you can lose opportunities to do these things if you're not understanding it and acting on it quickly. So I would agree with the council president that it is up to us as well as the administration. Our administration is lacking the plan and the foresight to move this thing forward, and that's really sad. Well, but it's up to us to also help out and try to move this thing forward. Now, so far as I believe that the city can be saved, right? Now, I keep pushing for this study in an alternative.
This McKinsey study?
Absolutely, because I know from a business perspective we can save it. It's a matter of how long it's going to take and the pain and suffering we're going to have to put our residents through, which we don't want to put you through pain and suffering. We don't want to say, well, look, you know, there's no fire department to call. You got to call me. I'm coming with a bucket. I have no problem with that. I would come with a bucket to put your fire out, right? I wouldn't have no problem with that. How much pain and suffering do we have to put them through is going to be the question, right? Or do we got to raise your taxes 10,000% or 1,000%, whatever it is. But I know it can be saved, and I am for.
Do you think we ought to put a 0.5 tax increase on the?
I think that
to sustain us. I mean,
I absolutely
we up against the gun. We don't even matter much from 2017.
I
That's another $1 million cut.
I'm absolutely confident that when the consultants do their analysis and they come back with, here's what we already know, and they come back with, here's your alternative, that a income tax increase will be in the alternative. I mean, it's just, there's no other choice. And as you look at other municipalities around us, they're all raising taxes.
But do they feel comfortable with the leadership? Let me say this, and I don't want to cast any dispersion on anyone. Gary Norton negotiated to the exclusion of the council with the Cleveland Clinic, as you said, a private entity, to get $20 million. 12 to 14 million went to tear down the structure. 8 million went to the city. And over the years that money was there, which was a buffer, if we would have been frugal like we are now, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So, I think that's another issue that I hear when I talk to responsible people about who's leading our city and how that creates a problem.
Can I interject?
Okay, yeah, please interject.
You know, I had a conversation with King earlier today.
Okay.
And I was disturbed because some of us are kind of like going at each other. You know, the residents and the council and just, you know, people, you know, taking different sides. But I realized the fight really isn't just us. But you was on it before about the rainy day fund. It's $2 billion, and out of the 31 cities that are in crisis right now, East Cleveland has been taking, more money been taken from East Cleveland than any other city. We take, so far, in the last 6 years, we've get $6.7 million back to the state. Our deficit now is what? Only $3-4 million?
Yes, we need that money.
We need that money.
Yeah.
We need that money.
Yeah.
But as Kasich is going around saying, the state budget is balanced, it's balanced because they took our money.
Right.
And instead of us fighting each other, we need to be on a bus going to Columbus and stand out in front of the State House saying we need our money back.
But you know what? We sent a letter to him. I sent the letter myself and Ken Smith. And we collaborated the best we could. I talked with one of his right-hand persons, he said, we see what we can do. He went on, started going on this campaign, and they never done anything. Kent tried to get the legislative body, because they have to kick in on this, to set aside the money they're taking from us that we should be getting, but they wouldn't do it. It show you how important voting is. The Republicans running the show. Okay? Still, it's worth a shot. Now that he's through, when we talked about it originally, Dr. Guy was $1 billion. Like he said, it's $2 billion now.